We're going where you wanna go, 'cause we go everywhere. Space Coast Area Transit, we'll take you there.
Space Coast Area Transit helps keep Brevard's economy moving by connecting workers with their jobs, linking students with universities, transporting the elderly and disabled to needed services, and helping our tourism industry stay strong. The number of daily cash transactions are equal to the average super Walmart. When you consider that there are over 1,000 bus stops in Brevard County, and that the number of boardings per hour are higher than either Houston or Minneapolis-St. Paul, the economic impact of transit in our community becomes readily apparent. In addition, park and ride lots support one of the largest commuter vanpool programs in the state of Florida, resulting in a convenient, reliable, and affordable way to get to work. The Volunteers in Motion program offers transportation by trained volunteers to assist residents who are too frail or elderly to ride a bus. There is no doubt that Space Coast Area Transit helps drive Brevard's economy, but how does that translate into actual savings? Go to 321transit.com and use the online savings calculator. Input some basic information about your commute and see how much money you can really save. 321transit.com also features maps and schedules that can be printed from your home or office. If you prefer, call the Ride Line and ask for maps by mail. The trip planner helps find which route to take and tells you where you need to be and when you need to be there. Thanks to Google Transit, you'll receive step-by-step directions and see the route on a map. You can also use 321transit.com to join a commuter vanpool. And participating in the vanpool program couldn't be easier. Space Coast Area Transit and its vanpool provider, Commute with Enterprise, purchase vans with federal grants, then lease them to commuters and human service agencies at a reasonable rate. The commuter vanpool program attracts employees who could benefit from sharing the expense of driving to work. Most vanpool passengers meet at one of 3 centralized park and ride lots, park their cars, and transfer into vans that seat up to 15 passengers. Park and ride lots are conveniently located in Viera, Ogallie, and Palm Bay. Go to 321transit.com and find the lot closest to you. Not only is parking free, but you can also feel confident about getting to work on time. Vanpool passengers get to relax and enjoy the ride. In addition to maintenance, roadside assistance, insurance, and the cost of the van are all covered in one affordable monthly payment. Maybe that's why vanpools carry over 39,000 passengers each month. A second type of vanpool program helps organizations with limited budgets, such as Brevard Achievement Center, Bridges, and the Space Coast Center for Independent Living. Because insurance is included in the lease of the van, the agency vanpool program provides a substantial cost savings. Space Coast Area Transit also supports the transportation disadvantaged through its Paratransit program. If it wasn't for this life-sustaining service, each healthcare facility would have to provide its own transportation network, a cost that would surely be passed on to the consumer. In numbers of passengers served, Space Coast Area Transit is one of the top 40 paratransit providers in the nation. All Space Coast Area Transit buses are wheelchair accessible. Everyone needs a way to help them get where they need to go. Volunteers in Motion assists thousands of elderly individuals who would otherwise be unable to live independently by providing reliable transportation to frail and elderly citizens who are physically unable to use other types of transit services. Award-winning volunteers help these seniors, offering life-sustaining transportation to medical appointments, pharmacies, and grocery stores. By understanding the impact and power of volunteerism, their civic leadership shines brightly throughout our entire community. When you join Volunteers in Motion, you serve because you care. Sometimes, Space Coast Area Transit has additional opportunities to help others through one of their least known yet most important roles: overseeing transportation for Brevard County Emergency Management. When an emergency situation is declared, Space Coast Area Transit contacts each pre-registered individual with a special need. After informing them of the impending emergency, transportation to an assigned shelter is facilitated. By coordinating with other emergency support functions such as Public Works, Law Enforcement, and the Red Cross, Space Coast Area Transit delivers crews and supplies like tarps, food, and emergency equipment wherever they are needed. Space Coast Area Transit also participates in the staffing of the Emergency Operations Center 24 hours a day until the emergency is over, for as long as the special needs shelters are open, and until every special needs citizen has been returned to their home. The economic impact of saving a life? Priceless. Since its inception, Space Coast Area Transit has served over 25 million passengers. That's like loading the entire population of London, New York, LA, Chicago, and Houston into buses. Just imagine the effect it would have on your life if 25 million more cars were on the road. The positive impact that ride-sharing provides by keeping traffic at a minimum is huge. We must encourage alternatives to highway congestion so our community can continue to prosper while maintaining its desirable quality of life. And when it comes to saving money, even people that don't ride the bus benefit. A study by the American Public Transit Association found that for every dollar spent on transit, $6 is returned back to the community. Approximately 85% of Space Coast Area Transit's budget comes from outside sources, such as state and federal grants. Those dollars help drive our local economy with investments in payroll, operating expenses, and capital improvements. Yet another way that Space Coast Area Transit keeps Brevard's economic engine running.
We're going where you wanna go, 'cause we go everywhere. Space Coast Area Transit, we'll take you there. Government buildings and colleges, shopping villages, squares and malls. Space Coast Area Transit, we'll take you there. The post office, library, beach and more. If you need a ride, you're in luck. Space Coast Area Transit, we'll take you there. To the doctor's office or the grocery store, we can get you everywhere. Space Coast Area Transit, we'll take you there. Space Coast Area Transit, always going your way. We'll take you there.